nhớ trong giấy trong nhà chỉ có đến được trả thế trong phong nhiệt cho tù để nó cũng giờ bỏ đi ba nhau phong translate news trong xe tàu là trên này nhớ trong nút nó cũng biết họ xử sự chỉ chẳng hay cho cái một apply nhiên để government cho là ba rồi bé mong cho là cho lúa là giờ bé cho tu lúa bé cho small business nhớ trong họ example specially nữa giờ nó xong họ từ của mình đã làm trên này là ít tiền rồi trong xe tàu đã tàu là chỉ được trong nhà chỉ có đến được trả thế trong phong nhiệt cho tù cho lotion nóแต่สิ่งนั้นเราจุดเจอมั่วเนี่ยป้าเราไปจอดตุลาตุลัวเราจะไปจอด small business เนี่ยเราใช้ eat simple specially ที่จะเราเลยขออย่างเรื่องเราไปกูจอดเราไปจอดหนอจุ่มงเนี่ยเราติดแคปเปอร์เราจะหนอจุ่มไม่เก่าเราชี้รอเกินเก่าเลยแล้วก็ปอตัวเดียวแต่สิ่งนั้นจึงชวนเนี่ยเราชุดเดียวอยู่จุดตัว apply ไอ้ป้อนเนี่ยเราไปที่ตัวชี้นะจ๊ะขอเราตอนนี้กูจะเป็นไม่ใช่มองเราบ่อยหรือตรงฉลาดชิดถาหรือตัวเคลียร์จอเดียอยู่จากก็จะ apply ตัวเดียก็สาวกี่ป้าเนาะเรื่องตัวป้าก็อย่างที่เขาเราตอนนี้กูจะเป็นผู้ใช้รู้ตรงชิดฐานอย่างตรงมอเนาะ
organizations แต่อยู่ละป้าจนในดอกฮอต technical assistance จนเลยที่ไปกูมัวParis from Dunning นี่กูตัวต่อEast Side Area Business Associations นี่คือตัวย่อจากลูก non-profit organizations แต่นี่กูอยากตัวจีลูก event มันนอป้าลูก event มันนอที่ไอ้กูจะเนี่ยเราหาไปเราลูกอีกทีไปเจอไม่จะคือชื่อเสียงตัวสุริSenator ฟงเฮอที่ใช้อีกที Representative Leslie ใช่นี่ตัวผู้ต่อของเป้นี่กูเลยขายตัวกูจะเนี่ยตัวเที่ยนอติชีนี่กูเจอมั่วอีก engagementที่จะอยากในตัวเต้ามันจะขีดเนื้อตัว join ไปเที่ยใน Natalie Anderson Lee she will be coming to join us later on too for the forum so อยากในหมดจาก questions น้องรัชชีเราไอ้ขีดในน้องตัว Natalie เราเต้าที่อยู่ในน้องเต้าจะand those that she'll be answering some of the questions in regards to the Minnesota Promise Act program as well. And if you have any questions in regards to technical assistance, then we have HAP, and then we also have Matthew from ESNDC over there. Matt will be also be able to answer any of your questions or concerns regarding to the technical assistance portions. And please welcome Paris Dunning.
And especially to be speaking Hmong and taking care of making sure that our community really knows about the Minnesota Promise Act. That is what this forum is really all about. The Minnesota Promise Act is open for another week. We have been excited about this legislation for the East Side for a year. Our Representative Jay Shong authored this legislation, so we want to thank Representative Shong. He did this not just for his part of the East Side, but for the whole East Side, and was a part of writing this legislation to bring this much needed support and relief resources to our business community. Not only here, but also elsewhere in St. Paul and on the north side and on the south side of Minneapolis. So that's a little bit about why we're here. We're going to thank Representative Shong. He wanted to be here tonight, but short notice and other commitments, he was unable to attend. But how many of you know Representative Jay Shong? Some of you do? Okay, cool. We do want to thank Representative Shong. Representative Lee will be here a little bit later, as well as our Senator Fong He, who helped us get organized for this event. I want to do some thank yous and also welcome you and start a little bit too with who's in the room. I'm Paris Dunning from the East Side Area Business Association. I am the business association that serves all of the East Side. So I hope that you're understanding me well enough. But how many of you are business owners? How many of you own a business? Okay, that's great. Do you own a business? Okay, well raise your hand. How many of you own a business? Raise your hand. Very good, cool. How many of you own a business on the east side of St. Paul? Own business? Okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, great. Yes? No? Okay, sorry. This is something I know about business owners, working with business owners on the east side. It doesn't matter when you have a forum. If business owners, welcome Senator He, so glad you're here. If business owners think it is important to their business to attend, they will be there. So you being in this room signifies to me that every one of you thinks there is something important for your business here tonight. We want to deliver on that because your time is very valuable. We know that if it's not important to your business, it doesn't matter what time we offer the forum, you won't come. So the fact that you're in the room is testimony to the fact that you believe there is something important here for your business. We want to use your time well, and we want to tell you all about it. And then once you learn, we need you to reach out to other businesses that you know and tell them all about it. Because if the East Side does not get this money that has been allotted for the East Side, our whole community loses. The money will go somewhere else. That is absolutely a promise. I like saying this about the Promise Act. The Promise Act is a promise. If we don't apply, I promise you the money will go someplace else. So we have to apply in order to get the money, and that means you have to understand why it's important to your business. I want to thank Pa Ying Consulting. Pa is in the back. Thank you so much for helping us get organized here. Welcome, Senator He. We're super glad that you're here. I already thanked our representatives, Jay Shong and Representative Lee. I want to say thank you to HAP and Jur Tao, who's here tonight, and to Matthew Anderson from ESNDC. They are our technical assistance providers. So Bao Vang is here as well from HAP. Bao, good to see you. No, B Vang. God. Yeah, that's B Vang. Okay, thank you. We've only known each other like 10 years. I'm sorry. Okay. So HAP is here. They are a technical assistance provider. ESNDC is a technical assistance provider. I see Pang Shong too. Hi. If you need help doing this application, they are the ones who can help us. I hear sometimes people say, it's a grant. I don't have time for a grant. It's a proposal. I don't have time to write a proposal. This is more like money back on your tax return. This is not a difficult grant application, but there are some significant pieces to put together to get your application in. So we want you to understand that too. I want to also thank Hmong Twin Cities News for their coverage of the event and for working with us to make sure that more of the community finds out about it. We have been talking about this since January, and you are just hearing about it now. So that's how fast news travels. We've got one more week to get your applications in for phase 1. And if we don't get in for phase 1, this grant will open up again sometime in the fall, but we don't know when. So that's why we need your help to get the news around to our community. Okay, I just said a lot in English. Sorry about not being able to say it in any other languages. I hope that, am I getting through? Do you understand basically where we are? Okay. I think I've thanked everybody I was going to thank. Welcome, Senator. We're going to have Matthew Anderson and Natalie Johnson-Lee from NDC coming as well to talk about the specifics. But if I can ask, before I run out the door and turn it over to Senator Fong, do you have questions, right? If you don't even have to ask it yet. Do you have questions right now about the Minnesota Promise Act and how to apply? Just one, two questions. Okay, hang on. We got 2 questions. Anybody else have a question? No. Can I hear your 2 questions? And we'll make sure that we know who's going to answer them. And then I'm going to get off the stage. The last thing I will say is, in order to apply, you go to the website, mnpromiseact.org. It's on a flyer in the back. You can go to the website, click Start Application. That's how you apply. Okay? Now, 2 questions. I'd love to hear them. Okay, will you please ask your questions? If I can't answer them, the other folks will hear them too, and we'll be able to know what they are.
Is this program only for the East Side, or is it open to other places?
Okay.
And then the second question is, we have a small business currently, but we're not located in East Side. So if we bring our business location to East Side, will that work?
Good. Okay, two good questions. Is this only for the east side? And two, if our business isn't on the east side, but we came to the east side, would we be eligible then? Those are good questions. I can answer both of those, and I will in just a second. What's your question?
I guess mine's a little bit more general because maybe I'm misunderstanding, but you talk about phase 1 and phase 2. So the money is allocated, the legislation has gone through, it's just to the point where we're applying, or is it that you need a certain amount of applicants before the money is released?
That's a great question. No, that's a great question. So he's asking, is the money already allocated, or do we have to get people to apply in order to get the money? Thank you. And I hope I'll clarify those three things, and then you guys can talk about other technical things too. Hopefully there may be some other questions. It is not just for the east side. It's for the east side, part of the Midway, part of South Minneapolis and North Minneapolis, part of the west side of St. Paul. There is a map on that website, mnpromiseact.org, where you can look and put in your address and see if you're eligible. If you have a business that's more than 2 years old, you have to have 2 years of tax returns. So if your business is more than 2 years old, but you just moved to the east side, and you can prove that you've got a lease, or you've got something to show that you operate on the east side or in one of the other areas, then you're good, you're eligible. So you don't have to have operated your business only in one of the areas, but you have to be proof of address now. That's a good question, like what if we got in soon? Ooh, interesting. Well, that could be a Matthew Anderson question. And then finally, oh yeah, we'll get a question there, but to answer your question, $19 million for the East Metro is already allotted. Okay, but if we don't get it, it'll go to the Midway, or it'll go to Frogtown, or it'll go over to the west side. Do we want it? That's our question. And can we get folks aware and able to apply? Yeah. Money's sitting there. We have 2 years. The money's going to be there for 2 years. So when I say phase 1 is closing this week, it's just the beginning, really. We're just at the beginning. So I'm glad to get the questions and answer them. You had a question, ma'am.
My question is, if you have a construction company which work all of business address has to be in those areas?
Great question. The question is, what about you operate all over the cities, but your home address, is that the one that matters for where you qualify? My understanding is yes. It's your home, it's the address where your business is located. That is the one that matters. We have a lot of east side businesses that don't live, residents don't live on the east side, maybe anymore, fine. Your business operates here, you have an address here, a lease here, that's what matters. Does that make sense?
No, okay.
You may not agree that that's a good answer, but that's the way it is at the moment.
So
Great questions. Yes, sure.
the other way to look at it is the address that you register with the state.
The address that you have that's registered with the Secretary of State for your business
Yep.
is the one that you're using for this application.
Yes,
That's right.
if it's within the geographic areas there, especially for the ones that don't have an operating address.
Yeah, you're either gonna, and so part of what I've seen is, if you are a sole proprietor, you don't have a registration with the Minnesota Secretary of State. That's okay. Your address at your home is the address, that's your operational address then on your taxes.
Yeah.
So that's the one you're using.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense. You need 2 years of operational taxes, and you need a gross annual revenue under $1 million. $750,000 for the grant, under $1 million for the loan. Under $1 million to $750,000 is a loan, under $750,000 is a grant. I've had Eastside businesses say, profit? Under $1 million in profit? Yeah, I'm in. No, under $1 million in gross revenue, so total take. Hello, another question.
How is the award amount?
So what's the award amount look like? I'm gonna let Matt take that. Matt Anderson, come on down. Who else is coming up here with Come on down if you're on this panel. B or Jur or one of you guys gonna be on this? No? She's just like, no. Matt, come on up here. I'm gonna hand it off to you. Senator, welcome and thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, you can sit down. I'll let you guys talk.
So to answer your question, how much money are you eligible for? in that grant. And what they do is they have a scale, okay? So in your highest revenue, gross revenue of taxes for the 2021, 22, or 23 that you put in, they take a scale. So let's say you grossed $10,000. You're eligible for $1,000. If you gross $20,000, you're eligible for $2,000. And the scale goes up. And so if your taxes say you made $383,000, they put you in this. So during the application process, when they ask that question, they have a little scale there for you that we look at, and we take that number, and it has to be accurate. So you want to be very clear from your taxes to the answer of that question. Yeah. Any other questions so far? No?
So I understand that there's different phases where they're allocating the money.
There is.
So how is that just split up between that sum amount already, or is it just whoever applies it just?
So the 19 million is applied to our side of town, but you still have to apply to be able to get that money. If we don't get enough applicants to fill that 19 million, they will push that money to another community for phase 2. So we have a certain amount that we have to get through. So the more applicants that we put in, the more money that will come towards our community. And then phase 2, that 19 million is for all 3 phases through 2025. So it doesn't mean we have to do all 19 million in this phase 1, but we do want to get as many people as we can to apply in the next few days so we can capture those funds for our community and make sure that that money belongs where it's supposed to go, and that is this community. Yeah. Any other questions? I don't know if, I know Paris introduced me. My name's Matt Anderson. I'm the Small Business Advisor for the Eastside Neighborhood Development Company. So what I do is I can come into any one of your businesses and help you through a lot of the barriers and challenges that we have. And whether it be accounting or marketing or writing up a business plan, I don't think everybody understands how important it is to have a business plan. It's a roadmap to your business. It's understanding your financials and what your demographic is and who you're going to capture and who you're going to sell to or who you're going to consult for. And these kind of things with HR and legal. We have a program now called the ETAC program, where we got money from DEED, Department of Employment and Economic Development, for this program also. And that way you can apply through us, and I have some flyers in the back. And what we'll do is we'll place a coach with you. So if you need a business plan, and this is at no cost to the business owner. So we have a coach for you, and we'll connect you to, and you can do a business plan, or we'll do marketing. A lot of us think of marketing as just a website, right? Or just social medias, or just sending out collateral. It's so much more, it's a bigger circle, right? Connecting your social medias for them to land to your website so they know what services you're providing, and they can go right to you by clicking one button. Everybody knows how the phone is key today, right? And that one button click is what we want them to get to you. And so our services, our TAs, our technical advisors can help you through that and build that program for you at no cost. We can build business plans for you at no cost. And also getting funding. That's why I'm here, to help you through some of these borders and this language we have inside the application process for the Minnesota Promise Act. And so that's part of our technical assistance program. So you can visit us in back afterwards, and I can walk you through it, and I can also answer some of your questions about the Promise Act, and just sort of get to see where your business climate is at this point, and see if there's anything we can do to help you through that. Because a lot of times, we have to operate our businesses, right? And we don't seem to have a lot of time to drive our business, right? We're running our business from the back seat. We're not running it from the driver's seat, where we understand our financials. We understand our fixed costs, our overheads, where those gaps are, and how do we fill those. We understand who our demographic is, who are the people we're selling to, so we can market them and attack them, right? And there's another thing that we don't talk a lot about, and that's leases. When we sign leases, right? We never want to get into a triple net lease. So there's language inside those leases that we can also help you with. So funding is the biggest thing. That's why we're here. The biggest challenge in your community and our community is access to capital. Working capital for you to be able to run your business after COVID, after the uprising. We were all damaged. All of our companies were hurt because of that. And that's why the Promise Act is in place. So we assist you in helping getting that. So I have cards and flyers in back. Please come see me. We'll be able to guide you through it and fill out an application. And then you'll come visit us and we'll find a coach for you. Yeah, any other questions?
What if you want to start a new business like a daycare? Would that qualify also?
So it's not going to qualify in the Promise Act, but there's so many other funds out there, right? There's the BIF, we have our own fund, there's CDBG, so there's other funds that we can guide you to and help you through those for startups. And then once you get startup, there's the Friendly Storefront grant. And so there's a lot of different avenues that I bet how many people know what Friendly Storefront is? Raise your hand. Anybody? So that was a grant that was just put out that you don't pay the grant back, and what it does is it can fix the front of your building. So you can put up a sign, you can have your windows fixed, you can have the facade, the brick fixed, and that's all free money, and not a lot of people know about that, right? So those are the kind of things within the Promise Act that we're going to spin off to be able to help your community. Yeah. That's called the Friendly Storefront. Yep, and that's going to be coming out shortly. And then there's also STAR. So STAR has just ended, but we believe all the funds were not allocated, so they're going to reopen the STAR grant. And that's working capital, that's paying employees, that's finding new equipment. So all these grants have a different purpose, right? The Minnesota Promise Act is the one we're going to concentrate on today. But this is important to your business, right? Again, access to capital is the hardest thing to find. Yeah, any other questions? So if you made $750,000 or less, you're eligible for the grant. If you made above that, to $1 million, that's when we go for the loan. That's at 3%, I agree. I think it's at 3%. So a loan at 3% is pretty unheard of in this day and age, right? If you go to a lender, you're gonna pay a much bigger interest rate than 3%. So what we do is we qualify you in that pre-application process. We talk about it, we ask you the right questions, so then we can apply for what you need. So if you made over $750,000, then you're not eligible for the grant. You're eligible for the loan. If you made under it, you're eligible for the grant. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Sure, it's asking what can we use the loan for?
So for the Promise Act, there's several things you can use it for. And one of the categories I like the most is the working capital one, right? So we're talking about equipment. Really, this is put together to add employees, to add to your business for cash flow and working capital. And so you can use it for hiring employees, you can use it for equipment, and there's a whole category within the application process that we can talk about. It's pretty technical, but it's got a lot of ways you can use it, right? There is some eligibility you have to follow, and there is some reporting after that. But that's what all of the technical assistants are here to help you with. Yeah, so it's kind of a little wide array of certain things. You can't pay your credit cards off. You can't pay your taxes. Or wait, you can pay credit debt, just not credit card. Like if you have a vendor that you owe, you can pay them.
Do your business have to be already established?
It does. So you would have had to be in business in 21, 22, because you're gonna need to download your 21-22 or 22-23 taxes to be eligible. And that business address in your proof of address document and your taxes have to match. Yeah.
One more question.
Yeah.
Okay, like say, 1 year your taxes above a million, and 1 year is under. Do you still qualify for the loan or no?
Yes, you do. So they're gonna take that highest one, and that's where that scale comes in, so that's what you would apply for. So if you were $1 million in, let's say, 2022, we'd want to apply for the loan. Because if we applied for the grant, that's too much, and it's gonna push you way down. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yes, can I ask a question for Senator Fong? I've been working with a lot of clients, businesses that are outside of the regional areas, right? The ones in Brooklyn Park, the one in Maplewood, they're still struggling businesses, right? They're asking about, what about them, right? Are there any resources or any fundings that are gonna go towards them? Because I know there's an initiative foundation that covers the rest of the state, but they don't cover the rest of the metro, right? Is there any plans for these businesses that are asking about funding for them?
Yeah, and I think the answer will be to talk to your legislator or the council member. In my district alone, we were missing, it didn't include the Highwood Hill area in the map. And Representative Jay Sean has to become more vocal to include that. So he's working on changing the map now to be included certain part. The original intent was to focus on equity and area that have been struggling economically, and then while that's happening, we had civil unrest and COVID-19 and all that. So then we're trying to find even resource in expedient way. And so we put the Promise Act into law and signed in 2023.
Yeah.
And so that's where, but if certain area that the business there felt that they weren't included, but they are struggling, I think you can talk to your legislators and city council. So they will be an advocate for you. And it may not work for phase 1 now because it's only 2 days away. 2 days away, but the 30th, right? Almost like a little bit more than 2.
11:59 on the.
Yeah, so, but maybe phase 2.
So
And there's a button within the Minnesota Promise Act website where it says not eligible.
Yeah.
So that button says not eligible. That's going to guide you to the resources for you to call your congressmen, to senators, and also to give them an explanation of why you feel you deserve this. And they may open that up in phase 2. We don't know. We hope, because I also have been getting those emails and calls, and a lot of people have been affected. So this is an impactful grant to start with, and then hopefully we can spread it out and make sure the right people are getting these funds.
So just to follow up on that, how is the map drawn? Is it within the legislative language that sets these boundaries, or who sets these current boundaries, right? Sorry if it's too hard.
Yeah, it was discussed in the Job and Economic Development Committee. So my colleagues and Champion was instrumental on that, and also critical to Representative Jay Sean, who's the chair of the Job and Labor and Economic Development. So they were instrumental in making that decision. But like a map, sometimes when you put language in place, you don't actually see it, and then when it's drawn, it's different from your original intent. So if it's missing any point, do talk to your legislators. Just found, I know that Maple, a constituent called me. They have a shop at Maplewood Mall, and Maplewood Mall, you can see that it's struggling as well, and their business they're struggling, but it's not considered as a census tract area, So there's a lot of work to do. We're just deploying this, and so hope that more people, bring us their error, and then we can make correction, and hopefully more people will apply. Our first call now is just to encourage the east side to apply, because we have very low number from the east side. Even though we say this is grant, almost like free money, but we don't have people who apply. And so that's what we need to do. And we have an assistant to help those who want to apply. And any other question? I want to introduce Representative Leslie, who represents this area, my house member as well. So, you want to talk? What was the question? Yes. Yeah.
21, 22, or 23.
And now since I have the mic and I cut the plate, you might throw some question. Because I went on Facebook and announced this event. I don't want folks to think that it's my event. I know there's low-key discussion. People think it was my event, but it's an ISABA event, and they asked us to be present. And so, being that we put into law in 2023, it's good for us to come and do a check and check the progress. So I'm glad that ISABA, in conjunction with HAP and ESNDC, throw this so that we can have the last minute to apply before June 30th and hopefully the phase 2. But I will still be there the next phase as well. So it's their event. I'm just here to confirm the legitimacy of the legislation and the work that they do. So, Representative.
Hi everyone, I'm Representative Lee. I represent the northern part of our Senate District here, 67. I'm grateful to Isaba and Paris, who I guess maybe is not here, for helping put on this event. But I came in on the question about maps, and maybe this is a better question for Jer or Nancy, because I know there is some confusion about the maps and kind of who should apply. And so I really do think that if you have questions, you should work with HAP or the Neighborhood Development Center or some of the nonprofits that have been tasked with administering these funds, because there is a pre-worksheet that you can use to figure out your qualifications beforehand before you put in too much work into your application. But I know because one of my constituents called me a couple of weeks ago to say, hey, like I have 2 businesses. I live in your district and my businesses are outside, but tell me what I need to do, right? And so I think the maps piece is a little bit confusing, and I know Chair Jog had some concerns about how that messaging was or how people were talking about that. So I do encourage people to meet with some of the nonprofits that have been tasked with helping you. So don't think that you don't qualify yet. I want folks to know that. And yeah, I guess I'm open to questions or whatever else is on people's minds about tapping into these funds. Because I think the deadline is soon, right? I think it's the last week.
June 30th.
June 30th. Okay, so don't wait till the last minute, because those minute websites crash sometimes. So yes, 2 takeaways. Please work on it this week, and I guess that's why there is this kind of last minute push.
Okay, question.
I have a question. I have a lot of people giving me a call and saying, well, they can't be here tonight, but they wanted to know if there's help. HAP was only here Monday and Tuesday, but what happens after today if they still want to apply? So we can touch on that.
You bet. So we have resources at ESNDC. Also, NDC and HAP have resources. So during this pre-application process, it asks you if you want technical assistance. And so what that does is that connects you with one of the TAs or reviewers to help you through this process. I have my business cards back here, and I promise every one of you, if you contact me and you need help before the 30th, I will come over and help you apply for the Minnesota Promise Act. I give you that promise. And I have staff to help me do that. And then also, ISABA has a staff to help do that too. So we can connect you to the right resources depending on where you are. But here's the thing, we want to meet you where you are. I don't want you to have to stop operating your business to go all the way across town to fill this out. We want to be a resource where we meet you where you are. So please grab our business cards, talk to me and Mac afterwards, and we'll set up something. We'll set up a time this week, right, or Monday, so we can get. No, yeah. Do I have Monday? I don't get Monday. It has to be now. Okay?
Since we're televising it, can you share your phone number?
Absolutely.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that, and let me call. You share your phone number. Folks that represent ISABA share their phone number. Folks that represent HAP share their phone number. And I see B Banks here from NDC. And so are you still with NDC? Are you HAP now? Okay, HAP. So maybe you guys can come up here.
Yeah.
While you come up here, I'll do bilingual. I speak Hmong too because we spoke English throughout this and want our Hmong clientele to understand this too. And I appreciate that we take our time explaining slowly so they can see the video. And Apostle, Pastor Kim, maybe can you say something in Karen at the end of the video? Just the number. You say the same thing I say. And so I'd like to call, why don't the HAP people come to up here? And chat the Joshua và anh sẽ mi apply bây giờ số EOP bao chi nu sẽ là apply cho cái grant nữa. Then sang của số là bao cho tôi này có bang mẹ phụ bố để có tổ bang mẹ có đau đỡ nữa nè, okay? Sang đỡ cho ta lấy đi.
I have a question. So pre-application needs to be done before Sunday or the actual application?
The pre-application. But we want to get it in as soon as possible. We don't want to mess around after the fact, right?
What's the time frame between the pre-application application and that and getting to the actual?
So I see them getting busier and busier each day. So it was an hour response to either deny or accept or TA. And now we're looking at about 1 to 8 hours to respond off that pre-application.
I was thinking about ISABA. Can somebody who represents ISABA say their number? Hi, you want to come up here, say your number?
I think I have ISABA's number. Okay, answer. Yeah, that's fine.
So my number with the Eastside Neighborhood Development Company, our phone number is 612-327-8543. And you're welcome to call that anytime, and I also have cards in back. And I'll pull up ISABA's.
Can you repeat the phone number again?
I will.
That was 612-327-8543.
Yes. Giờ thì này sai có ba apply cho lu promise agreement nữa này hỗ trợ cho bên lu công hồng American Partnership the giao chí ý ở做chí做ý giao损nữa giờ giao chí ý ở做chí giao ý giao损. So HAP's phone number is 651-495-5160 651-495-9160. Thank you.
I'll give this to Apostle. Apostle, can you say, why don't you stay up here too? Just stay up here. And Pa, why don't you stay up here so people recognize that you'll be the one to help.
Lớp cái phải đâu vậy đã và cái nhỏ cái vậy đã lừa trả cái vậy lừa mi vậy đã promise as anh ấy cái vậy đã lên từ cái sec lo vậy đã phone no gì nè mi vậy đã hư về đó require về quitter hư quả nó đã hôm nay qua cầm lên có cả để làm mình logo vậy đã để đặt cái gần khai ní để bây giờ nó vậy đã khai vị trí vậy đã nên nó
Paris number, mình cũng đào cho Paris hấp bao từ từ đông cho GR cho blog 别想 bao trò cái bán cho sao tại cho là chỉ cái điều sĩ cho nhà nó ổn tệ và thi bên cháu nè ở trong đó.
do hai tên em cho Paris của tu mua khu đó nó chỉ này chỉ có luồng mì cá mà chỉ để của cho của tao là thế của số tao nhà chỉ sụn bê chỉ cha chỉ tao chỉ sụn cha chúa English 503-756-5079 so you can contact me or you can contact Paris Dunning. The both of us will be working on the program together. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. So it seems like we want to get a quantity number of application. So what if we're not ready, but we want to just put our name in a database just to kind of secure the money for the east side? I mean, would you?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that unless we have our 2 years of taxes in place, we have proof of address, we have our driver's license, and we have everything, all the resources we need to fill out the actual application, because that's going to come right behind the pre-application. So if we're not ready, our technical assistants will help you get those documents together or help you register with the Secretary of State, and then we can go ahead and get ready for phase 2 by using the worksheet.
So another question I have is, for example, if you've got everything and you put it through the application process and you might not have answered some questions correctly and you get denied. Phase 2 come around, can you reapply?
You can, but you can only apply twice. So we can't do it again in 2025. So we have to be cautious of the information that we put within the application and that we're qualifying that information together with the TA providers. So that way we know we're in the right place for the second phase or the second application. So you can apply twice. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah? You want to close it up?
We still have Natalie Anderson, and will be here. She'll be here around 7:30. So she's from the UDC.
Does she Senator from Coastal?
Yeah, I mean, when she comes, if those of you who are still here, you can network.
Yeah, we'll have Matt here to assist throughout.
Yeah, so we'll be here if you have any questions, just talk to us directly. Yeah, 我找到这从是读个下一考呢，就来我有可搜着Mountain City News 是我好报名其他的，我找到他们几家公司都呢哈叫 representative 哈representation 都知道是米哈都系数奥路长呢判个我给在被动上那路做那路长路是还是路好判但是情说到样เขาชัวร์นะแต่เขา被叫被谁都 apply 被谁都好 grant 呢要就上一赛就经常啊เรา frog ทำเขาใช้จอยนี้是吧ไม่ apply 但是啊แต่กูเนี่ย被你哋被 check 一赛 apply เดี๋ยว被 apply 到呢你ใช้被谁到自己นั่นแหละ我找到被都唱的就是懂的我找没懂的不嘛是谈自己就懂的 I want to thank everybody for being here Paris already left, so I think thank you for giving me the honor to close this meeting. And Representative Lee and Jay Sean, three of us really care about the East Side St. Paul, and we want our number of application to show in high number, so that when second phase come around, we have potential to be considered further too. If we miss this first time opportunity, it's just a handful. They're going to raise a lot of questions whether we really care about developing our own, or boost up our own businesses. So thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully we answer your question. If not, do call the number that you have heard earlier, and may success come to all of you, especially here in the East Side. Right? Thank you.
我种到了种年纪，个的那家庭种不有错多，那都是 Mountain City 那个说是，木口我做。bây giờ tôi là tôi lùa nhất đầu sa ít sai sinh phò và nếu tôi mà apply cho nhiều nên cái mình cho là 8 tuần này là lùa cho chỉ lên nó là thôi cứ kia nó thì cũng muốn là cho số tung cho tan đầu hồ cá nó ý này một lần nụ đã chỉ này huru cho số tung hồ cá nó ý một tụi tây rồi này thì khi rồi này cái này bao mừng chắc khó làm gì do cái rong sau vào lúc xưa nhà nữa khó nhiều bây giờ phải lọp ba bây giờ là lúa nó nửa chuột tà cho lúc trâu liền tôi vẫn thì bây giờ là xứ giờ thì chỗ này chi không toàn đây là xứ ý này lần từng nó mua là lúa nhất rồi sa ý sản sinh phụ thay nhất rồi lịch khó nên một lần nụ là chỉ này huru cho số tung nhất rồi cá nóเลยอยู่ใต้ตรงนี้ก็ในพวกมึงชักขนาดนี้ว่าจนตอนนี้เป็นยังไงจะจีนตัวใช้มองทุนซีรีส์นู่นในวิดีโอเราจอดเจลินนั่นแหละ